All right, in an attempt to get a little bit more up close and personal with some of your Johnnie hockey players, and in this case, Coach, we're going to be doing some segments, some video segments to be able to ask the coach questions like this, or have the players interview each other, just kind of have some fun with it, and get some stuff out there for maybe people to laugh at or make jokes about. So we had some questions that came in for me, and I'm just going to kind of go through those and give you my answers. First question, how many recruits do you plan on bringing in next fall, and at what positions? Currently we have 2D and 4 forwards and one goalie that are all seniors. So, with that, we're going to be looking to bring in a class of, 6 to 8 guys that'll make the team. But with that said, we also recruit for not only varsity but JV hockey as well. So we'll have a large group come in next year as well. We have 58 kids that tried out this year. It's just a very good competitive place to come and play hockey. So, but I expect to have probably 6 to 8 new players in the varsity next year, along with those that are returning. The second question is, who is your favorite SJU player to coach so far? This is a difficult question. I have a lot of good players that I've enjoyed coaching in the past, but I guess to name a couple, I'd say maybe Brent Bro. No, not him. Kevin, yeah, maybe not. Michael Pond, no, we're not going to go there either. No, I would say probably, I just like the players that are, guys like Tobias Lindbro that graduated last year. He's right at the top of the head with me, with players that I really enjoyed coaching. Not only was he a great player on the ice and did anything for his teammates, he was also a great person and a great student. Graduated with like a 3.98 GPA, something crazy like that. He's just been he's a very good, well-grounded individual. That's not to say those other guys aren't. But anyway, what roles do you see your assistant coaches in, and do you have a defined defenseman coach? Right now our assistant coaches are Michael Palmasino and Nick Spirides with the varsity. Palmasino's really good at ordering pregame meals. It's something he works very hard at. He did fail the first night though. Actually got denied by Chipotle, which had to go to another restaurant. Ended up late for the game. These kids these days, I don't know. It's not that hard really, but he had a hard time with it. Nick Spirides has been great. He's kind of the eye in the sky for the first 2 periods, and then comes down and he's a great individual coach with our guys. So that's kind of his role. Palmo does a little more than just ordering food, but that's what he's best at. What can you expect from sophomore transfer Andrew Commerce? I saw he buried one in the first game opener. I expect Andrew to be a hardworking, up and down the wing, penalty killing, character, energy type player for our team. Whatever points he gets, that's great. But as long as he brings character, work ethic, and energy to our team, he's going to be an extremely valuable addition to our program. So it's not about what he produces on the scoreboard necessarily for me. It's about, how he plays the game that I love so much. So very excited about having him here with our program. What is your dream objective? I want to win a national championship. That's what I want to do. I wouldn't be coaching if that wasn't my goal. I think we have players in character to accomplish something that big. Again, I wouldn't be doing my job, and I would have no idea why I'd be coaching if that wasn't my goal. Every year my goal is going to be to win a national championship, and I'm going to recruit and work and push my players hard enough to hopefully accomplish that. How important is morality in hockey? I believe this is coming from sports ethics class here at St. John's University. Morality is important in life in general, but morality in hockey, I guess you could say we toe the line a little bit with morality in hockey, but it's a competitive sport. There's But I do think there's a difference between competing and maybe not being moral in how you play. I think as a coach, I push our guys to be respectful and play the game the right way. But at the same time, you got to play this game hard. And if you don't play this game hard and competitive, it's hard to be successful. So we try to play the game with respect. We try to win with respect. And for those reasons, I think morality is important. But again, it's a sport that at times that competitiveness pushes the limits of morality. So I would say coach-centered approach or athlete-centered approach. I think that's with my coaching kind of surrounded around my philosophy as well, which is the next question. I consider myself kind of a player's coach. I'm not a Herb Brooks in your face, bag skating, up and down, stops and starts kind of a coach. I believe in bringing my players in on decisions. I believe in having my players feel a sense of responsibility towards the team, and I'm not a my way or the highway kind of coach. I like to bring them along in decisions. I like them to feel like they have a say in things. The ultimate and final say is obviously mine, but with that, my players ideally have a sense of responsibility, and they feel like they have something to say about where this team's going and the direction it's going. Best and worst things of my playing career in Europe. I guess the best would be the opportunity to travel. To be honest, it was late in my playing career. To be able to see, go into London or travel through Southern Ireland, or, go and see Belfast, and to go over to Paris and things like that. It was just experiences that I don't know if I'll ever, I'll never forget. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it again. So that was probably one of my favorite things. Another great part of my time in Europe was to be able to get an education from Coventry University. I got my master's degree from Coventry. I came back from my playing time in Europe with a master's degree. Can't complain about that. It was a great experience that way. The worst, but also maybe the best, was the food. I'm not afraid of the food over there. I liked the food. I don't mind having a good hot dog every once in a while, or some bangers and mash or something like that. I mean, I kind of actually enjoyed the food, but it was nice to get home a little bit too for the American food. So the next question was the funniest SJU player that I have coached so far. I think I had a lot of guys that thought they were funny, but probably the guys that thought they were funnier than most would be guys like maybe Connor Rooney was kind of a clown. He liked to joke around and dance in between whistles and things like that, even during the game. But no, he was kind of a funny guy, and I did get a tweet the other day from a past player of mine, Lindeberg. Managed to let me know that he is still toe dragging guys in men's league. So obviously he still thinks he's funny too. So there are some pretty good comedians in the past Johnnie hockey teams I've coached. My favorite hockey player, I was a big Scott Stevens fan. I'm a defenseman. I was a defenseman that liked to step up in the neutral zone and make big hits. And Scott Stevens was well known for being a very physical, tough, mean defenseman. So that was my favorite player growing up. That's who I kind of wanted to emulate in the way I played. And so he's my favorite player probably that's played the game. My favorite movie, book, and song. That's a tough question. I like a lot of movies. Gosh, some of my favorites, probably my favorite book, and one of my favorite books and movies is Band of Brothers. I really like that movie. I like the book. It's something that, I like using the phrase Band of Brothers with our team and sticking together and stuff like that. I know it might be overused a little bit with sports teams, but you know, being a band of brothers is a big part of kind of winning hockey games too. So, favorite song, Cali Swag District. I think that's what it's called, right? Teach Me How to Dougie. I've been well known for teaching people how to Dougie, and you know, if we win that national championship, I'll be Dougieing in the locker room. I'm sure that'll happen. I think my players would probably say I owe them a Dougie dance from the MIAC championship last year, but unfortunately I didn't pull it out for them. What are your hobbies and passions? My hobbies, I like fishing. I like being on lakes in the summer. And you know, I'd like to get on the golf course more, but that brings me to probably one of my passions is my family and my kids. I have 2 kids. Dawson, my son, just turned 2. And Aubrey, my daughter, is going to turn 4 here in January. That's where a lot of my time is spent. My wife, Carrie, that's where my passion lies outside of hockey as well. It's my number 1 passion is my family, for sure. Who will be the MIAC champions list this year? That's an easy question, I think. The St. John's University Johnnies will be the MIAC champions this year. I think any coach would say that about their program. I may have given some bulletin board material, but I believe in our team, and I believe in our players, and our goal is to win the MIAC this year. And that should be no different for any team in our league, but I believe we are going to win the league. Are you supporting any other teams or leagues? You know, I'm a Minnesota Wild fan, being a Minnesota guy. Other than that, my alma mater in Bowling Green, I know they've gotten off to a good start this year. They're winning some big hockey games. I like following them online. You know, some other teams I like following teams that I coached for or played for, or I have players that I coached that are now playing for. You know, I like following the Sioux Falls Stampede, where I coached for a bit. I like following my alma mater, Bowling Green. I like following a team, the Amarillo Bulls in the North American Hockey League, because one of my best friends from college coaches their team, so I like following that team. I'm a big fan of the USHL, North American League, and junior hockey. And then high school hockey-wise, you know, it's hard to say one way or the other, but I graduated from White Bear Lake. My Bears, go Bears. I like following the Bears and following what they're doing, but I'm a big fan of high school hockey in Minnesota as well. So I like a lot of teams. I try not to be biased one way or the other, but basically where I've played or where I've coached are teams that I like to follow. Those are all the questions that we got. I'd like to thank everybody for posting questions on Twitter, Facebook. I am trying to become a better tweeter. I'm trying to get in social media a bit just to kind of keep people more engaged in our hockey program. I think we're moving in the right direction. And hopefully you enjoy this video. Hopefully you enjoy these questions, my answers. And hope to see you at a Johnnie hockey game soon.